breaking free as Draisaitl to the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl has tied the series with his fourth OT winner in the playoffs. Final score, Edmonton 5, Florida 4 in overtime.
Oh, man, that's Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer are the guys on the Edmonton Oilers radio call. So tune in to their radio broadcast because that's what you're going to be getting every night.
I love the energy. I love the passion.
I love it.
But if I ever sound like that calling a game, let me know.
No, it's overtime in the Stanley Cup Finals, Alex. You got to be dramatic.
That's over the top dramatic, though. I feel like that was a WWE ringside.
I'm here for it.
Ringside thing happening, man.
I loved every second.
Edmonton, in case you didn't pick up on it, they get the 5-4 win in overtime in Florida to tie up the series 2-2. And it was, what a game. I can go on and on about how every game has been so much fun to watch. But like this game, Florida scored the first 3 goals. They were up 3-0.
Yes.
Edmonton scores 4 unanswered goals. It looks like they're going to win the game. Sam Reinhart scores with 20 seconds left. He ties it up to force overtime. And then you've got Draisaitl finding the back of the net for the game-winning goal.
Doing it again.
He has been we know he's one of the best scorers, one of the best forwards in the world.
Yeah.
That pairing of Draisaitl and McDavid is just insane. Just incredibly entertaining hockey. I've got a friend who's really into hockey. He was saying that this is some of the best hockey that he's ever seen.
I would agree too. Not that I'm like an avid, I've watched hockey for my
of
entire
our
life.
young hockey viewing years.
Yes, but
this is the best hockey we've seen.
The more and more that I've watched, I can absolutely agree with that statement. This series, this final. Watching it last year, I thought it was absolutely incredible. I didn't think that coming into the series, I didn't think that you could top what happened last season. But man, they're doing it, and they're doing it in style, and I love it.
Game 1, overtime.
Yes.
Game 2, double overtime.
Yes.
Game 3, Florida runs away with it, but you get a 5-on-5 brawl.
Oh, that was amazing.
And then Game 4, tying goal with 20 seconds left, and then overtime again.
Yes.
And you're doing it all with, these are the best players in the world. And I think that I got to give credit to good old Bobby Bobrovsky. He had an amazing save. I think it was late in the third period, helped them secure that game-winning goal. It's just amazing to me. You hear football is a game of inches, right? And if football is a game of inches, what's hockey? Like a game of centimeters. I think it was Draisaitl tried to score the goal, and Bobby did the old butterfly, stuck his legs out, and like the edge of his skate knocked the puck away. And like if his legs were an inch shorter, the puck would have gone in. Or even on Sam Reinhart's game-winning goal, he was on I don't know what that line is called, but imagine like the baseline in NBA, right? It's kind of like that. He was right up against that. And the margin of error that he had to shoot the puck in at that angle, if it would have been even half an inch to the left or right, the puck would not have gone in. And it's crazy how accurate these guys can be. And even on that shot, there was a Edmonton defender who stuck his skate out, but his eggs were an inch too short, so he couldn't get the skate on it. And it's just so crazy to me that how accurate these shots are, how close some of these saves are, and it's like nail biting, white knuckling, edge of my seat the whole game.
I 100% agree, Christian. And look, we spent the first segment talking about how much the NBA Finals have delivered and how awesome those games have been, but you're absolutely right. The Stanley Cup Finals have been even more amazing. And I think something that can't be buried, and I think that's probably the biggest storyline heading into the game tonight, is the fact that I feel like a lot of people thought the Oilers were done and dusted. I feel like a lot of people thought the Oilers it was over.
Well, that was the big thing because the way game 3 ended with Edmonton seemingly collapsing and just going all out on. They let Florida under their skin, right?
Oh, 100%.
It seemed like they just fell apart mentally. They were going around cross-checking Florida for no reason. The one player, he swiped a Florida player with his stick while he was on the ground. You had another guy cross-check a Florida player, break his own stick on the Florida player's back for no reason, like they're away from the puck. And it's like, okay, are these guys melting down? Is this a meltdown?
It absolutely looked like it.
It looked like it, but then it's like, or are they kind of saying, you know what? We'll give you game 3, but you better be freaking ready for game 4 because we're coming. And that's honestly what happened.
100%. And even then, game 4, you're up 3-0, Panthers, after the first quarter. And again, it looks like they're done and dusted, man. It's over. The Oilers have no response. They got no answers. And then all of a sudden, the Oilers come back, make it 3-3. They take the lead. And then you have the goal again with just seconds left on the clock. And it looked like the Panthers, again, were going to secure this one. But for the Oilers to stick it out, for Draisaitl to do it again and score an overtime winner, the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals, man, they've delivered. And it's been what a pleasure it's been to watch.
And going back to a couple weeks ago, we got into like, if you want to keep seeing the same teams over and over again in the finals. And I think this is exactly why, right? Because not only is this fun in the moment, but you know that there's a history between these two teams. You know that Edmonton wants it so bad because Florida got it last year. You know that Florida doesn't want to give it up to Edmonton because they beat them last year.
Right.
And Florida feels like they're the team on the top right now. And both of these teams made moves to get even better than they were last year. And it's showing on the ice. And, you know, McDavid so desperately wants to raise the cup because that's his whole thing, right? He's the best player in the world, but he's never won the finals. And that's the only blemish on his career right now. So he wants it. And it's just those dang Florida Panthers that are in his way over and over again. And that's what I'm having fun with. I know the fights are fun. I know the dramatic finishes are fun, but like I'm here for the history of it, the story of it. And it's really fun kind of jumping into this hockey world and learning all of the lore that's going on. It's like, oh yeah, like a lot of people don't like Edmonton. A lot of people don't like McDavid. A lot of people like Florida. They like Reinhart. They like Sam Bennett. They like Tkachuk. These guys are like pretty much American heroes because of what they did during the Four Nations face-off, right?
Right.
So it feels like it's more than just, oh yeah, these two teams are playing for the championship. It's going to be two different teams next year. Like it very well could be these two same teams again.
It's so fun to watch. And again, it's the high level of hockey. It's the back and forth. And, you know, it's a similar conversation to what we had with the Pacers where you just have two teams just absolutely brawling at each other, quite literally in this sense, and they're just punching each other in the mouth, and the other team responds by punching the other one back in the mouth twice as hard. And that's exactly what you love to see. And I feel like even with this series, I just don't know which way it's going to go. Because again, it looked like the Oilers were done and dusted, and then the Panthers were gonna rally up 3-0. The Oilers come back, and now you take this game back to Edmonton on your home ice. Tickets as low as $825, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
And you got a chance here to take a 3-1 lead, take it back to Florida before you take it back to Florida, or a 3-2 lead before you take it back to Florida. And then you know what, this game tonight, I think is going to be uber important. Because I think whoever wins tonight is going to end up winning.
That feels very safe to say, yeah. I still wouldn't give it a 100% guarantee just because these two teams, it's so unpredictable. Like we literally saw the other day, like we keep repeating, Florida goes up 3-0, you think the game's over.
Yes.
So you never know what could happen, but I do think that Edmonton, it felt like they were down and out, and then they win, and now they go back and play on their home ice. Big.
And, they're taking it back. You have that opportunity to go 3-2. And I'm excited to see what happens, man. I'm excited to see if it goes again to OT and the dramatics are there, the NHL playoffs by far right now have, I think, a lot more of our attention than the NBA finals do.
I wouldn't say a lot, just because, we spent the whole segment talking about how much fun the NBA finals have been, right? But it's close, and I think I would give the edge to the Stanley Cup finals just because, you're getting overtime every single game or a 5-on-5 brawl. Like, that's so much fun. So let us know what you think. We put a poll up on Twitter just barely, question of the weekend on the Saturday show. What have you had more fun watching, Stanley Cup finals or NBA finals? Stanley Cup Finals has one vote. I literally just put it out. So Stanley Cup Finals is winning off the first vote. Check that out. Let us know what you think. That is up on Twitter.
I think for me, NBA, I've had more fun watching the NBA Finals.
Do you think so?
I think for me, yes. But that's because I've watched basketball for a really, really long time. And I didn't really jump into this whole hockey thing until we knew we were going to get the hockey club.
Yeah, I get that.
And so I think just my love for basketball and the years that I've spent watching that game compared to hockey, I think that's probably why, for me, it's the NBA Finals.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I will say, we'll finish on this. My last takeaway from this game was, because this game was in Florida, right? They show Draisaitl's game-winning goal, and then it cuts to this big watch party in Edmonton. And, they're all standing, and they, man, Draisaitl is so awesome. He gets the breakaway. He's got one hand on the stick. He's using his other hand, his left hand, to literally push the defender off of him. And with one hand, he pushes the puck into the back of the net. That's awesome, right? But then it cuts to the watch party in Edmonton, and they just blow up. They're all going crazy. And my thought was, I want that here in Salt Lake City so badly, whether that's for the NBA or for the NHL. I want a finals watch party where we can just stand out there on the plaza and go crazy when our team scores. And it feels like we're close. I not close as in next year, right? But it feels like it's on the table within the next, hopefully, 5 years, maybe 10.
Yes, it could be a reality.
It could be a reality, but that's what I want.
Especially after, no knock on the Jazz, but not having playoff basketball here in the state of Utah for a minute.
Right.
I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like the state of Utah needs some playoff. Whether it's playoff hockey... Even if it's not
the finals, right?
Yeah.
Just like a playoff series.
Yes.
Because we've been so deprived of that.
Yes.
For what's it been now? 5 years almost?
I think
4?
So. I think so.
But still, it looked like it was so much fun, and I just have FOMO.
Truly it does. It does feel like you're missing it. We're missing out, and it feels like, again, because of NBA playoff environments at Delta Center. I feel like all Jazz fans right now can say that they all miss that. They miss that energy. They miss that excitement. And I feel like right now the Utah Mammoth have Cardinal sin there, bro.
Get the dump button ready, Sean.
I feel like the Utah Mammoth have a really, really big opportunity right now to capitalize on the need for that, the need for the playoff environment, the need for that excitement and that drama. And if they can do it this next season, whoever's not hooked will be hooked.
It's up for the taking. Go grab it.
Absolutely.
One last time, got to pull up on Twitter, on the KSL Sports Zone account, by the way. Question of the weekend on the Saturday show. What have you had more fun watching? Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Finals. The votes are rolling in quickly. Stanley Cup Finals leads 67-33. So go check it out on Twitter and vote.
Real quick before we go to break, Sean, Brad Marchand,
Yeah.
how you feeling?
It's hard to put into words.
In case you don't know, Sean is a Boston Bruins fan. He's wearing a Bruins shirt right now. Brad Marchand was on the Bruins, longtime vet. Florida traded for him, picked him up at the trade deadline.
Yeah, so he's the only rooting interest I have in the whole series. Other than just hockey in general.
Yeah.
So I am kind of rooting for Florida, even though they broke the Bruins basically the last 2 seasons and put us to where we had to trade Marchand away. But I'm rooting for him.
You're
honestly.
a longtime hockey guy, so have you had more fun watching the Stanley Cup Finals or NBA Finals?
Stanley Cup for sure.
Cool.
This series has just been so crazy, such a war, such a battle. The NBA series has been awesome too, but this is just next level hockey. And if you're not watching it, you're missing out.
You really are.
Yep.
And from the ratings, it sounds like a lot of people aren't watching it. So I would highly recommend checking that out tonight. We've got Game 5 on deck. What time is that? 6 o'clock. It is kind of hard to access. You need TNT. However, you can get to that.
YouTube TV.
YouTube TV.
There you go.
Mooch off your parents like me.
Exactly.
All right, got to take a break. Coming up next on the other side, let's talk. Stick with hockey a little bit. Utah hockey. Utah Mammoth.
Dump it.
They're getting ready for the draft, bringing some prospects in. We'll touch on that a little bit, as well as RSL. They're on deck today, so that's next. This is the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, it's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles with me. It's time for 5 minutes of. Still got a lot of things to talk about, not a ton of time left in today's show, so we'll kind of rapid fire through some things. Let's start with the Utah Mammoth.
Hey, you did it.
I did it.
You got it right.
It is draft season. The NHL draft is 2 weeks from yesterday. A little confusing there. But the Mammoth are starting to bring in prospects for interviews. Starting to heat up. I like the way they do it. It sounds nice. They bring these kids in, and they're kids. Like you got to remember, TJ Ginla was he 17 or 16 last year? Like a lot of these guys are kids.
Right.
And so the teams like fly them out and take them out to dinner and interview them. Anyways, Brady Martin is a name that has had a lot of connection to Utah throughout the last week. Apparently he's been sort of a riser in this draft. And you can tell me how you feel about this. I feel a little weird about it. You hear Brady Martin and then you hear, his comp is Sam Bennett. And that's why he's been rising, is because of how good Sam Bennett has been in the playoffs. And it's like, okay, that has nothing to do with Brady Martin. So I want to kind of be weary about that. Maybe he's a good player. I've never watched Brady Martin play, so I can't say that. I have seen some clips of him. I saw him truck a dude. And so, I mean, he's not big, but he's a tough, physical dude. He grew up on a farm. But it's like, is he really worthy of the number 4 overall pick? That's for Bill Armstrong and co. to figure out. But they are very interested in him.
Yeah, and I think that I believe Cole Bagley, our KSL Sports insider for the Utah Mammoth, I believe he talked to him here a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And you can find that interview on KSLSports.com and the YouTube page, KSL Sports.
Yep.
Seems like a bright kid. And like you mentioned, he's a kid. And
they're 18.
He's got kind of that kid energy, and he seems like a good vibe. And I feel like that's, I mean, obviously just basing off of the kind of that kid energy, I feel like that's something you just want in that organization. Someone with good vibes, someone that brings positive energy into the locker room, but at the same time isn't afraid to go in and basically truck a dude on the ice, right?
Yeah.
Have that killer instinct on the ice. Good guys in the locker room, but the second you step on the ice, you flip that switch, and you become physical on the ice.
I will give Brady Martin credit. Like, that is what Utah needs. They need more physicality on this team. And I do think that Brady Martin would bring just that, even though he's not a big body. But he's a physical guy who's willing to get down and dirty. Maybe Utah trades back from pick 4 and selects Brady Martin, or maybe they just reach on him at 4, and maybe it ends up working well if you can bring him in and develop him. It does sound like 4 is a little high, But we'll see. Another name that they've brought. Real quick, Brady Martin is a center, by the way. I think that's important to point out. Because another name that they brought in took him out to dinner, I believe, last night or somewhat recently. Porter Martone, a bit of a bigger name. He is a guy that's projected to go top 4. A lot of guys even have him going top 3. He might not even be on the board when Utah's picking. He is a right winger. That's a big prospect right there, because he is a guy, again, it would not be a reach if Utah selected Porter Martone. He's one of the bigger names in this draft. So we'll see where do they go. Wing as opposed to center, and that's hard because like these prospects aren't even going to be playing for your team next season, right? It's going to be a couple years before we see them. So that's a kind of interesting wrinkle that's thrown into roster building with the NHL and the draft. It's very hard to project if you're going to need a center or a wing more in the next 2 years, right? So we'll see there, but regardless, the number 4 pick is huge.
It's huge, and you have an opportunity to bring in somebody who can really make a difference for your team down the road with the high caliber of player you can get at number 4. But I think right now, for the win now mentality and for Utah Mammoth fans, I think they have more eyes on free agency and what's going to happen with players potentially coming over to the Mammoth through free agency to really bolster the squad and be able to bring in a piece that can really get them over that line and really make them a playoff contender. And so as exciting as the NHL draft will be to get the number 4 pick and to bring in potentially a top tier prospect, I think all eyes are on July 1st when free agency starts.
Couple of notes on there. I'm glad you bring up free agency because let's start with Sam Bennett. I think he would be the biggest fish. Obviously, he is in the middle of the Stanley Cup Finals right now. Got some reports going around on Twitter and social media. Andy Strickland, he is a rinkside reporter for FanDuel Sports Network. Just reading some of his tweets. He's basically saying Sam Bennett's a lock to return to Florida. I mean, especially if they win the Stanley Cup Finals. So would be a nice get for Utah in free agency, but it's pretty hard to imagine. I mean, Bennett has been one of the best playoff performers through all of the playoffs, not just these finals. And if the Panthers end up repeating, Sam Bennett's going to be a big part of that. And it would be, in their eyes, and, you know, I agree, it would be dumb to let him walk away in free agency. But Andy Strickland says he can confirm Mitch Marner will not be returning to Toronto. He will be playing for a new team come next season. So it sounds like Mitch Marner will be a free agent. We'll see if Utah's willing to open up the pocketbook for him, or if they want to keep it conservative.
Cash, man. Splash the cash.
Yeah. It's a
little bit of what we were talking about last segment, right? Where you have this opportunity to seize the momentum, to really take a step up and bring that playoff culture back to the state of Utah.
Yep.
And I feel like making a move like this, bringing in a big fish like a Mitch Marner will definitely help you do that.
Yeah.
But again, you know, everybody's talking about how we'll see whether or not the Mammoth, Bill Armstrong and company are able or are willing to tie themselves up to big money like that.
Again, 2 weeks from yesterday is the NHL draft. And then, as you said, July 1st is the opening of free agency. Real quick, Utah Royals, they lost last night to the Gotham FC 3-0. So still a tough stretch for the Royals. It's been a rough go this season.
They have been plagued with injuries, and I don't want to make any excuses for them. They've been plagued with injuries, but even with the talent that's on that roster, you expect more and you want more, and they just haven't been able to really get it done this season yet.
Their last win was April 18th. They won 1-0 against the Chicago Stars. So tough break for them.
One win on the season, man.
Want to see them get back on track. We do have Real Salt Lake on deck for tonight. They are
7 straight
hosting
winless. Yes.
DC United.
They're hosting DC United.
I always get confused. Soccer does it backwards. On the Google team typically lists the home team as the bottom.
Time out. We do it backwards.
Whatever,
Everybody
man.
else in the world does it.
Real
does
Salt
it that
Lake
way.
hosting DC United tonight. 7:30 first kick, 6:30 pregame. Real Salt Lake is coming off a 2-0 loss last week. Was that last week? No.
Yes. No, 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago.
2 weeks. They had the bye with
They did
international.
have the bye. That's right. 2-0 loss against LA Galaxy was their last outing. Real Salt Lake hasn't won a game in a while as well.
7 straight without a win.
They've got a couple draws in there, but 7 straight games without a win.
1 win in the last 10, and 8 wins in the last 35 games for Real Salt Lake.
Soccer not doing too well in the state of Utah.
No, it's not. And tonight I feel like is a really big opportunity for Real Salt Lake to, 1, win a game, and for 2, to figure out how to play the game without Diego Luna.
Yes.
Diego Luna is with the United States men's national team. He's playing at the Gold Cup. That starts tomorrow, I believe. That tournament starts tomorrow, and so Diego Luna unavailable for potentially, depending on how far the United States men's national team make it, he can miss up to 4 games.
Yeah.
And so your leading goal scorer, your top assist maker, the player with the most goal contributions for Real Salt Lake, unavailable. So tonight's a good opportunity to figure out, one, they've already struggled with scoring this season, so they've got to figure out now how to win games without Diego Luna, which is not, for Real Salt Lake fans, it's probably not what you want to hear considering you're in the middle of a 7-game winless streak.
Yep.
But DC United is one of the weaker sides in Major League Soccer, and so it's a big opportunity. They're also missing a lot of key players, so it's a big opportunity tonight to figure it out for Real Salt Lake.
12th in the East, 4 wins, 6 draws, 8 losses for DC United. So a very vulnerable opponent. As you're saying, a good opportunity for Real Salt Lake to get back on track. Real quick, while we're with soccer, sorry, you go ahead, and then I'll get to mine.
I was just going to say, if you're heading over to the game tonight, make sure to get there early. Be at the stadium early. Club legend Nick Raimondo is going up in the rafters. And so if you have tickets to the game tonight, make sure to go out and be there early to celebrate Nick Raimondo as
Entering
his
what do they call it? The Ring of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he got inducted into the National Hall of Fame earlier this summer.
Okay.
And now he's going up in the rafters at America First Fields, which is in the rafters is just his name plaqued onto the stadium.
And they don't retire his number, do they?
No.
But he gets, his name up there because, a true legend, one of the staples of RSL history. Real quick, though, I was going to ask, how did Mexico do last week? How was that game?
They lost.
Bummer.
They lost 4-2 to Switzerland. But honestly, fun environment. It was awesome to see, the Mexico team and be able to do that for my dad. Kind of an early Father's Day little present, little outing. It's not often that the Mexican national team make it out to Utah.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't remember if they've ever made it out to Utah. So it was awesome to be out there. Rice cycles looked great. They had the natural grass. Sucks it wasn't a win, but it was fun overall.
Well, I'm glad you got out, man. Sounds like it was a blast.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right, take a quick break and then wrap this show up on the other side. This is the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Final segment of the day, and then we'll let you off to enjoy your weekend. Real quick, Alex, let's hit on the U.S. Open. This course is brutal. 3 players under par right now. That's it. Sam Burns is in the lead. He's 3 under par. JJ Spawn is 2 under par, and then Victor Hovland is 1 under. Everybody else is at par or above. Tony Finau, 10 over.
Yeah, not good. This this course is.
I mean, we heard all week, right? The Real
Yes.
Golf guys come on all the shows throughout the week, and everybody's
Yes.
like, dude, Oakmont is brutal.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they want.
Well, and I one of the things that stuck out to me throughout the course of this week was Scotty Scheffler saying that this is the hardest course that they've probably ever played. And, I remember Alex and JD were talking about it, and that it's kind of proven to be true.
They're looking like me out there. I was saying, I'm going golfing for Father's Day tomorrow, and I'll be putting up some U.S. Open scores.
All the big names are struggling, man. You have Xander Schauffele +4. Scotty Scheffler tied for 26, also at +4. Morikawa at +4. Rory +8.
Yeah, 49th.
All the big names struggling down at Oakmont.
Over to the WNBA, big news, Alex. Caitlin Clark is making her return. She missed 3 weeks with an injury. Was it a hamstring?
I believe so.
They are playing at the New York Liberty tonight. New York is 9-0, but the Fever, they've been struggling obviously without Caitlin Clark. They're 4-5, but the Fever get not only Caitlin Clark but Sophie Cunningham as well, also returning from injury tonight. So they're looking to hand the Liberty their first loss of the season. I know the WNBA, specifically the Fever, have been really struggling viewership-wise without Caitlin Clark. So this is unfortunately the way the WNBA is right now. But when their star player is out, when their big name is out, not a lot of eyeballs. But I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be tuning in for this one, and it's huge. And again, the Liberty, a very good team, the best team in the league right now.
Yes.
So that's big for the Fever and the league as a whole, and for Caitlin Clark in year 2.
Huge game to return to, considering that the Liberty are undefeated. They are the number 1 team in the WNBA. Huge opportunity for the Fever to try to go out there, give them their first loss. With Caitlin Clark returning, I'm sure there'll be a lot of eyes on that game. I'm excited to watch her return.
Yeah, 3 weeks is a long time, especially, the WNBA season is not that long because there's so few teams. So missing 3 weeks is huge. And like I said, 4-5 on the year. So the Fever have really been struggling. I think
2
she
and 3.
played 2 and 3.
2 and 3 without Caitlin Clark.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, they're not a perfect team with her on the court. I think it's still going to be a couple years before they're true contenders. But as long as she is there with the Fever, they have a shot. But the Liberty, we all know that they are pretty much perennial contenders. So we'll see how that game goes tonight. Thanks for being here, Alex. Fun show today.
Absolutely, man. Always a pleasure on Saturdays coming and talking sports with you, man. I'm looking forward to doing it again next week.
Big show next weekend. We will do a lot of draft previews. We've got the NBA draft around the corner. We'll get a little bit of NHL draft stuff too. So tune in. Don't want to miss that one. It's a Saturday show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.